my poor bastardized Randy Savage impression. Welcome to the show. So, I have Jeff and Joseph from the Reactionaries podcast.
Howdy.
Yeah,
Howdy,
buddy.
y'all.
Yeah.
Heather Clark, B-movie and horror aficionado.
Hello.
Hello. And Jason Thomas.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, nice. I wasn't sure if you were doing a Bill Shatner there. Hello.
Fine.
Well, I was trying to think if there was something to define me, but I was like, not really. So,
I think you're kind of a wrestling fan, though, right?
I like so many different things. So
You're too cool. You're too awesome.
believe it or not, as I said, though, as much as I make jokes about porn, I really don't watch that much of it. So
You are bumming me out. I remember I was
know.
even asking him in the group, and he's like, I just did a random versus match. I was like, Peter North or Dill DeBone? He's like, I don't know either of these. I'm like, well, shit.
I do know who Peter North is, and that's been my stock answer. Everyone's like, who's your top 3 action stars? Your top 3 whatever.
Yeah, that's right. You were entering it. He did do stunts, to be fair. That has to count.
It is a type of action, I would suppose.
It is a type of action.
I think it covers every genre out there. So
to define Eric Roberts, someone has to do it.
That's right.
the truth.
Someone's got to do it. So Heather's one of the first ones also on here. So I will let you start. So we are talking today again about just various B-movie martial artists and stunt performers, just the kind of guys who they weren't cool enough for the Bruce Lee or even the Jet Li Club, let alone, and so just regulated to made-for-TV movies, direct-to-video nonsense, and just often appearing in mainstream movies as a henchman, the kinds who you see being the various South Korean commandos in something like Olympus Has Fallen, or a Latino henchman in something like Clear and Present Danger or Desperado, the ones who aren't Danny Trejo, but who actually have to get hit with blanks and maybe say a cool line before they try to kill someone.
Yeah, a lot of IMDb pages filled with things like henchman number 2 or monk or other things that aren't very descriptive.
Bodyguard who gets shot, number 5.
Yeah.
Guy that dies 15 minutes in.
Run over man.
That's actually very specific.
Village person number 17. Yeah. Son of Black Klansman number 7. I know. Yeah. It's just crazy stuff. So yeah, Heather, how did you get into all these kinds of garbanzo beans movies where you're just like, hey, don't man, these are just fun?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just timing. I was born in 1980, so have my brother was 5 years older than me, and so basically, and that pretty much explains it. I
really
followed my brother around. I wanted to do everything he wanted to do. I was getting, Baroness from G.I. Joe in my stocking at Christmas and thought I was badass. So yeah, we would go. It was the golden age of the video store. So mom or dad would go through their beaded curtain and pick out something in the hot pink plastic container. While they were doing that, we'd be in the action section and just ninja movies out the friggin' wazoo.
Killer doll movies, giant monster movies, mad scientist, kills a bunch of aliens movies. Yeah, just... Fight to the death movie.
It was brain food for the latchkey kids. So, I think that's basically how you could sum up how I got into it. And it just
don't imitate what they do on screen, so I don't have to come to the principal's office, honey. Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah,
So I was pretty much on you guys' same radar. I just, if I wasn't watching Star Trek or or X-Files, I just was already kind of in that B-movie mind. So I was just never surprised when I saw a bunch of kung fu movies on Spike TV or USA Network or just Full Moon Entertainment just crap all over. It's like Puppet Master versus, Doll Man number 2, just bullshit like that. I was just like, it's all integrated. So yeah, I'm sorry. The Wishmaster, Andrew Divoff, Lance Henriksen, Tony Todd, even Yancey Butler from Hard Target. Those are my icons. Those are my actors
Tony Todd.
No one talks about enough. And don't get me wrong, I love plenty of the A-listers who are kind of B-movie types as well, whether it's Ernie Hudson or Samuel L. Jackson. But what I'm really just trying to get at is just like, if you're some kind of B-movie star, I do kind of know you. So I know about the Joel D. Wynkoop's or Debbie Rokons who, for a living do random slashers in the woods in Florida and Louisiana. Right. As well as just whoever's on a crazy cop show kicking the shit out of ninjas and, cartel people on a daily basis if they're not shooting serial killers or, prosecuting victims. So, yeah, I'm just whatever. If you're a badass, I want to see you in action and I want to have some fun. Good or bad, if you're getting some kind of enjoyment, they can't be doing anything all that wrong, can they? So.
Exactly. That's what movies are there for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jason, what made you just kind of a movie buff, let alone just want to talk about this subject?
Well, actually, it's pretty similar to what Heather said. I mean, I was born right around the same time. I grew up...
pay-per-view is becoming a thing, wrestling's a thing, all these various just extravaganzas are just predating what we got today.
Yeah. And, the ninja thing was real big.
It really was.
Mid-'80s. And I remember, I couldn't have been that old, maybe 4, 5. I hope I wasn't older than that. But I watched that Ninja 3, The Domination.
There you go, Canon Films.
Yeah, the ninja guy, he goes into this cave and pushes this rock, and he's got this whole assortment of ninja weapons. So I actually made my older sister, she was 6 years older than me, take me down to these creek by the house, and I started digging in the sand thinking I was going to find this secret cache of ninja weapons. I can only guess what she probably thought at the time.
What are you doing, creepy brother?
But it was that. So I mean, I kind of with the martial art movies and then other stuff, and then just as I got older, I was always a sucker for kind of the cheaper B movies and kind of your more obscure, bizarre things.
So the guys who predated Tommy Wiseau are like, just do it, just make it yourself. We'll tell you all about how our crazy movie came to be a cult hit in its own right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So Jeff and Joseph, when did you become the experts of all the various samurai cops, maniac cops, and McBains of the world?
2 years ago, at the beginning of the pandemic, if you've heard of it, COVID-19, Joe and I have known each other since high school, so we're going on 20 years.
The other Joe.
Yeah, Joseph, I guess we'll call him. I call him Joe Berg. That's his
Joseph
nickname.
Rogan Gruen. Got it.
We call him Joe Berg.
Spielberg. The Spielberg of the B movies.
Yeah, so he texts me. I'm trying to find some project to do, and he texts me. He's like, "Hey, we should watch bad movies and make fun of it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Sure." And it was actually tapping back. I could not tell you a single movie that I actually watched, but in my third year in college was when the Netflix started streaming, and basically all of their streaming was just the $4.99 DVD bin, just like put into the TV. It was just, I could not tell you a single thing I watched, but I watched a lot of garbage because my roommates were obsessed with it at the time.
I did too. It
gave me a soft spot.
You could put all the names in a generator. That's the problem. I've watched so many movies from that era, but it's like they all kind of amalgamate into like this whole hard for justice.
Yeah,
or,
it's like the fight.
Justice, kill, beyond. One of those part of those subtitles are going to be in the name. Cop, samurai, robot, cyborg.
Fire.
Yeah, it's all like beyond the fight, or it's like
beyond the fight, and then the discount Don LaFontaine voice. And I just found out Ashton Smith does a lot of those voices, and he's pretty much the go-to now when you hear a Lionsgate trailer or whatever. And so it's great because now whatever Stallone or Bruce Willis are coming out with now that's junky is like I've heard the voice now. They have got nothing to lose, and. Like you guys say, I mean, it made me even more awesome when Jim Cummings, I found out, yeah, that's right, Tigger, Pooh, from Pooh was doing a lot of those voices as well. It was like, so he became known as like the Disney guy at times, no, the other guy was Mark Elliott. That's who it was, and he was just like, collect them all. And so I got so used to them, all the B movie studios doing that as well. It was like, investigate our entire trophy, library. And like,
those ads are awesome.
They really are. So much effort. It's like you forget about the budget and all that. And like you say, I was people were doing LimeWire. I was doing Rapid Share, and like you guys, it was interesting how there's like pretty much most of the Lionsgate library was on Hulu, and most of the Netflix library was like Dimension Films and all stuff. Even just movies I'd never heard of. Like there's this one where Michael Madsen's playing a sniper, just going around trying to kill people at a cabin. There's this other one.
I believe it.
Sounds amazing.
It's a really bad FOMO thing. Everyone should check it out, especially seeing the making of. I think you can find on YouTube with this Filipino guy who doesn't speak very good English and who just thinks he's a masterpiece. He's the next Hitchcock. So I got you so used to, again, years before I was going to the Riff Tracks live events and watching stuff like Birdemic, I was just already in that mode. I'm like, yep, everybody starts somewhere. That guy who you guys see now on primetime TV, he was probably doing some kickboxing movies.
Hey, Jeff and I actually went to school with the main actor in Birdemic.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
We knew him. Like I was in wrestling practice with him.
Yeah.
Oh, so that explains why he couldn't walk straight.
Exactly. I broke his legs back in high school.
You broke his goddamn leg. Jeff, why'd you do that?
So, I actually forgot you mentioned Riff Tracks. I just want to give a shout out to my older brother who recorded a bunch of MST3K off of, I believe it was Comedy Central at the time. And then when he moved out, I inherited a bunch of tapes.
I was the same deal. I was watching it when they were still showing Sci-Fi Channel reruns, but I watched all my father and uncle's various Comedy Central tapes. And so I got used to that whole just the long lost movies and TV that no one can find on any real mainstream outlet. Just the underground. So everyone was doing it with records. I was like, I'm doing it with movies. It's like, what's that movie that at that one on thrift store that you kind of want to see, even though you're going to pay out the ass just to find it.
Just to find a copy. Oh yeah, Joe and I are obsessed with Ron Martini, and we have spent hours trying to find his last movie. It's we can't find Dragon's Quest because of the stupid video game. So I fully understand that. Like I've spent hours of my life trying to find Dragon's Quest. Oh my
God, it's insane, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this one hostage thriller that had David Strathairn years before Born Identity and The Expanse, a rocket in his career. And it's a boring ass Dog Day Afternoon movie that everyone should see. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube now, but I was like, I'm so glad I can say I'm a fan and I saw this movie, but God damn, is it boring? Neil May would not be happy with this. But like you say, it is just so much fun to see. It's like, and then when you see one that is just like, man, they did wonders. They had nothing to work with. And I even have the uncut Blu-ray of Johnny Mnemonic. So,
oh, wow.
It's a way better movie. It's up there with Blade Runner if you see it uncut. But
oh, wow.
When seeing movies like that, I got used to seeing how just about anything could, if it wasn't, a cyborg movie with Dawn the Dragon Wilson, then it could easily be like an episode of Babylon 5 where the story is good, but the graphics are like, 90s computer graphics,
Oh, yeah. PlayStation cutscenes.
Yeah, PlayStation cutscenes. Yeah. Oh, and I did a lot of interactive video games back in the day. Just type real fast and make your car speed faster. It's just, so I was all used to that whole interactive mentality. And don't get me wrong, I got plenty of the official outlets. I would do is like solve a riddle for Build Eye the Science Guy. So I did all that kind of stuff during homeschool. Yeah. But yeah, no. So Heather, why is Cynthia Rothrock your icon, and why is Daniel Bernhardt, or also known as John Claude Gosh Darn, just amazing?
Oh my God, well, no, Cynthia Rothrock. I just got onto this whole what's funny is I was already obsessed with her because she's so unassuming. She's like 5'0". She always had school teacher hair, but she could beat the shit out of you. And it was just
worked with the greats, Juan Baio and these other Hong Kong guys, and then works with Sophia Crawford, who goes on to double Sarah Michelle Gellar in every American movie and show she does. And it's like, yeah, but Rothrock was just cranking out just nonstop. Tiger Claws, 1 through 3. Sworn Justice,
martial law that she did with
martial law with Jeff Wincott, who everyone doesn't realize. They've seen parts of him on shows like 24 and Sons of Anarchy, and you're like, and Blue Bloods, and you're like, This guy,
that guy,
the older brother. Yeah, that guy. It's creepy looking. He looks like
Chad
the guy
McQueen
from
is-
right. Yeah, Chad McQueen. Yes. But yeah, it was like Jeff Wincott. You do realize he looks like the bad guy from The Crow. Oh, that's because he's the older brother.
Oh, well, there it is.
And
My
what's
favorite
funny-
thing about like when I watch movies, like any like movies from that era, and I did, you know, it's one of those things I didn't realize it until like someone brought it to my attention. But my boyfriend was like, you know what niche guy in these movies I fucking hate? He's like the guys that are supposed to be like the bodyguards, like the tough guys that like, you know, are always standing behind the main dude. He's like, and they always had like the big suits with the really big shoulders. And they had
oh my god, that's the best part.
they always answer the door to the club and like, no, you can't come in.
That's
had
great.
like buttons tucked into chino. Like I was like, how did I? But it's like a specific guy. And it was like the more like even in Ford Fairlane, like the two bad guys in that are like that like type of dude. I'm like, it was way more prevalent than I realized.
They're way more prevalent. They don't have any lines, but that's just how awesome they stand out. I mean, yeah, it goes back to Franco Columbo and what's his name? Sven Ole Thorsen is like, there they are being Musclemania friends of Arnold, and he's just giving them bit parts as henchmen who he kills in all his movies. And same kind of deal with Stallone, you know, the main guy in Samurai Cop. He's a stand-up comic, but he used to be a bodyguard for Stallone. And same thing with the guy who Stallone blows up in Rambo Free in the cave, that giant Russian guy. And this is the same kind of deal. It's like, just give them bit parts. And that's where I even come to Chuck Jeffries. I grew up watching Gladiator and Blood Moon with Gary Daniels, and I'm like, okay, these are awesome movies, but this dude, he looks like Eddie Murphy, and lo and behold, he came this close to always doubling him, but that's what his marketing appeal was. He looks and sounds like Eddie Murphy, and he can do stunts. Let's sign him up for these PM Entertainment movies, which have car flips and insane kung fu.
Well, what's funny is Joe and I did a movie Against the Dark with Steven Seagal, and one of the guys in it, we're like, this guy seems very familiar. And
he's The Rock's cousin.
The Rock's, he says, yeah, his cousin and body double.
And he's hunting vampires with Seagal in Mexico.
Yeah, so it's just who you know.
It's who you know. And I had fun when I've re-seen Doom more times than it deserves, and I noticed he not only is doubling him, but plays one of the dead bodies near the end. I'm like, nice.
Oh, wow.
But that's just it. You just become used to seeing their faces. You can pretty much tell them in their movies. It's like, don't rely on just IMDb. There's plenty of times where I'm like, I recognize this guy. He's just the dead body on this new CSI episode or this.
At first, I thought you said Dune. The
Rock would have been amazing in Doom.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. The Rock is not in Dune. Hold on.
Oh, how about Dune versus... Oh man, and then like you guys say, is like it opens up. You pretty much everything is a B movie nowadays. When you're watching, whether it's something like Deep Rising or Virus, or like you say, just like Transfers 6 through, you know, whatever, you know, just you become used to that whole approach. Like the fact that they're still doing Puppet Masters and it's that well known, and it started out as a direct-to-video franchise, that says something. And so,
well, I actually live on one of our podcasts. I like basically this. Jeff Crisco threw out the Puppet Master thing, and I was like, actually, you know, that's a movie about Nazis, right? He just had no idea.
I remember that.
I was like, wait a second, what?
You weren't able to recover from it, and I can't blame you. And it was just, and my pal Shelly, who was like a big part of one of those recent shit fests they did, is just like noting how I was like, you know, what won't they do? Why don't they do a versus, you know, Leprechaun or Chucky, you know?
That would be great.
It would
crossover
be amazing.
Event of the century.
Dollman versus Jack Death from Transfers. I would watch it. I would seriously watch it. And
for sure.
Like Heather was
mentioning, take your Avengers Endgame and get it out of here. That's the crossover.
Oh, yes. And like Jason was mentioning, like it's just easy to just to just watch any of these, regardless of what you're doing. And I even blame my mother for this, and I don't mean that to shame her or do anything. It's like every once in a while we were gonna watch some kids movie because she didn't want me watching all this, you know, softcore crap that was otherwise gonna sneak in on Skinemax or HBO. And it's like, at the same time, it's just so funny how, like you say, it's like all these family movies is like just about every mainstream movie franchise is gonna eventually have a made-for-TV direct-video sequel, whether it was The Addams Family or Beethoven. So it's like I became used to it eventually, and then if you don't rent it, you're eventually, again, it's going to pop up on, you know,
on TV, and you kind of grow to accept the lower quality. You're like, this is like the thing that I like, so
it's no different than a Star Trek episode. It's just made for $2 million as opposed to 200 billion. Just,
hey, Star Wars Christmas special was huge.
Star Wars.
Yes. And B. Arthur is part of the Star Wars timeline. I'm not kidding. Like she's
in it.
So she's canon.
Yeah. I was an Ewoks kid. I did
too. I rented the Ewok Adventure multiple times.
Yeah, Battle for Endor.
And
I just watched those movies like a couple months ago.
They're so much fun. And
I assume they hold up very well.
I thought I imagined them. I thought they weren't even real.
Eat up the cheese, my friends. It's no worse than the Droids or Ewoks cartoon.
Yeah. No, they do. The Ewok shows do seem kind of like playtime. Like you mash together multiple kits because you're like, oh, I have these Ewoks from Star Wars, and then just these other
written by the Wheat brothers, who did a movie about this, like a bunch of snakes like terrorizing a house. It was like for USA Network. It was a cheesy '96 movie, but they're best known as the writers of the original Alien as well as the Riddick movies.
All right.
So they can officially say they've done the xenomorph in Star Wars universe. They've done and it's weird because you get those creepy spiders near the end that Ewoks are fighting, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
So many horror elements for a G-rated movie.
Yeah, it's
Burl Ives
nightmare fuel
from those Rankin Bass, the country singer. He's narrating. Oh my god. I'm always expecting him to say, "And the Ewoks build a snowman." Oh God! So, Jason, who is your number one like MVP? Like just someone like all the Mark Dacascos, Frank Zaggarinos, Joe Laura's, rest in peace, like of the world, who you will just go out and see. You're like, shut up and take my money. Like you are gonna buy it just when it comes out. You don't care how it got made or if it's gonna make you angry later. Who is the star who you just swear by when you check them out on the used, DVD or Blu-ray shelves?
He doesn't really make movies that much anymore, I don't think. But like I said, growing up, it was Sho Kosugi. He did all the ninja movies.
Sweet. So just
but his last like main movie, I think, was the one where like him and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Well, he was a ninja assassin too.
Fair enough, but so like much like Sonny Chiba and some of these other cult legends, is like you just would always come across them, whether it's in a Mill Creek, DVD pack or just a dud VHS tape. You're like, I've never heard of this. And I was kind of that way with some of those Hong Kong guys. Cynthia Moon was another one. You're like, man, she comes over here and does a bunch of these Prism home entertainment movies and then a bunch of these other obscure Hong Kong films that aren't Chow Yun Fat level, but are still pretty badass. They're fighting cyborgs or in space, playing aliens who know kung fu. I'll watch it.
Yeah, Sonny Chiba is definitely another one. Is Street Fighter and
the Bullet Train, where he sneaks in like one kick, and it's like it's the Die Hard of the '70s. Taking a pellet 1, 2, 3. Oh, nice. So Jeff and Joseph, like, who are your MVPs? Who were your just Roddy Pipers or Tommy Tiny Listers?
I mentioned him, and it's Ron Marchini.
It has to be.
It has to be in all
Marchini.
in all of our emails. I'm like, but what about Ron Marchini?
Yeah, we kind of live by a code. What would Ron Marchini do?
which actually, Ron Marchini is on Facebook, so you could just find out what. Ron
is
Marchini
he really?
Yeah.
Yeah. The answer always is we'd fail up. So that was always like the root of our podcast.
Yeah, fail up. Take 20 minutes of the last movie you made and put it in the new movie.
Yeah,
Ron Marchini, he's just fascinating.
It never doesn't work. Just putting all those messages.
He's just a fascinating character because he starts as a Filipino. He starts doing Filipino martial arts movies. Takes that money, just starts making his own movies after he stars in Death Machines.
Oh man, and you were great. You're like, look at that racial slur. Look at Adam West just looking like he just wants to walk out. That's clearly someone's garage.
Yeah. And then he
I forgot about this. I barely recalled it.
He started a production company on the money that he made doing martial arts and like
story and direction by Ron Marchini.
It was Marchini with Paul. Yeah, with Paul Curiosity. Did some work with them, and they're it's fantastic because they film a lot of like the Steve Parrish movies in
Stockton, California,
the John Travis movies in Stockton.
Joe Carnahan even gets like a writing credit for Karate Raider, which is like this weird kung fu western. But What I also love is Joe Estevez is in a lot of these movies.
Yes.
And that's another guy. If you can't get him or Frank Stallone or like even Charlie is like, and I've talked to the dude. The dude is just such a magnificent individual, just a nice dude. I love him just as Marty Sheen. He's just really, I love how he's working with Tim and Eric, and he's always spoofing how his brother's playing the president, and he's often playing the president.
That's great.
Oh, that's not how we do it. And I kid you not, I will buy any movie of his, even if I know it's a sack of shit. Like, he will steal it. And I think even people who have seen him on Mystery Science Theater is like, you know, or any Joe Bob kind of movies, like they just warm up to it. It's just like, you know, he's kind of badass. They should totally do the Soul Taker versus the Warlock. Just do it. Just he can't be that expensive to produce. You know, just.
And he also brought in Adam West for a couple movies, and Adam West stole the show in Omega Cop.
Especially because he's so dedicated to his West Foo, I call it.
Yeah.
Flat drunk.
Yeah.
The entire movie.
We're fully convinced that he was just in Omega Cop. Adam West was just drinking and just did all of his shots in one day.
That's why it all took place in the bunker. Just they could not move him.
Yeah, he did not get up the whole movie, and his shirt just got progressively more unbuttoned, and he just got slouchier. Yeah, it's sweatier.
He absolutely is amazing. And I'm trying to remember, there's this weird ass movie, I think it was AIP, which did all these other weird Action International Picture stuff with Red Brown and company, but he was in this one weird one where he like plays a professor trying to stop a demon, and at the end he has like a weird, like, he's hitting the demon with his cane and like doing, again, what I call West Foo. And then he's just like, get out! He pulls a Gandalf the Grey and Lord
just yells at him.
Yeah.
Maxim Zoll, that's the one. He's playing Professor Marduk, and he's like, that's already an epic movie. He does it a year after Omega Cop, and I'm like, that's awesome. Adam West will save you.
I think the heir to West Foo is probably Steven Seagal in his later days. Now he just kind of just like
non-motion.
Yeah, just grabs a hand and the guy goes flying.
I had the honor of talking to Keanu Waxman. There's a dude who, again, you know, was doing a lot of cool action movies for Lifetime and USA Network of all things. And he's like, basically, Seagal is John Wayne. You basically got to cater to their ego and give them an excuse to sit down and preach his so-called wisdom, and then give them an excuse to incorporate with the stunt doubles who are kicking the shit out of someone.
Yeah. Well, I've talked to people about Seagal before, and we rip on him pretty hard on our podcast. But yeah. So people always say, well, like, no, you know, he was a master, or I don't know if they call him master, but it was like his specialty was Aikido, and that's all about
a defense art.
It's a defense art. Yeah. So like you watch him in these videos, even when he's really young, really slim and in shape, and he's just standing there and guys are like running at him and he's like basically tossing them, or
you got to get the scream down,
using their momentum against them. But it was so funny. I also heard this great story about him. So apparently he's like notorious for this thing called tagging, which in stunt speak, that's like when you actually hit someone for real. So like he would like actually like hit people for real, which like, you know, Bruce Lee was also known for this kind of thing. But like the difference between Bruce Lee and like Seagal is that like Seagal would give these speeches beforehand where people would be like, okay, so here's what you need to do. You're going to do an arm throw. You need to like grab me here and here. You need to throw me exactly this point. I'm going to like move to this spot and you need to throw me then. And then he would just
throw
be like,
me, Ben.
He'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then he's just like,
no, you got to get the Seagal down.
All right, we'll do it. He'd be like, yeah. I got it, Daddy-o. And then like he'd fucking try to throw him.
I'm gonna throw you to Richie.
And they're these professional fucking stunt guys, and like he'd throw them, and like the guy would be like, I almost dislocated my arm in 3 places because this guy like he just can't take direction. It's just impossible. And you can totally see that. Like,
he was deliberately not doing it either, but it's just so funny too, because like my pal John Can, that's right, he's done a lot of movies like just stunts that were in Chicago or Dallas area. He was on Out for Justice. He played a stuntman who gets stomped on by Seagal. The stunt coordinator says, no. If you lay down on your belly, he's gonna break your back.
Yeah,
reverse it. And Can is so fucking angry still to this day because it's like, he gets credited, but that whole scene isn't in the script and gets deleted from the final movie. It was just Seagal just saying who was boss, being the alpha male dickhead at the time. But you can see him in all kinds of movies. He told me some great stories how he was the guy who shoots Sandra Bullock's partner at the beginning of Miss Congeniality and had to delete part of the scene just so it could get a PG-13 rating. He was one of the soldiers on Universal Soldier 2, and Mel Gibson's stunt double is directing, never directed ever again, just being a total prick to him the whole time. And finally the stunt coordinator's like, no man, I need you back. He's like, okay, just tell the director to fuck off, I'll do it.
Right. I want to see this R-rated unrated version of Miss Congeniality with like blood and gore apparently.
All right. And he told me how he got to see so much more of Kurt Russell, fighting prisoners in the shower scene for Tango and Cash. But again, Stallone deleted those scenes because, he was upstaging him. He's like, no, I can't have that. It was a great time talking with John Cann on the set of Queen of the South and all those other fucking movies and shows we filmed here that sucked. Oh, God. But yeah, like you guys say, it's just, all of you have just made good points. It's just amazing how all these actors like just hold their own kind of just cult fandom. Like you just you can understand why, that's kind of where I miss fan mail. Fan mail is basically nowadays just if you want to get in touch, but nowadays there are still some people who will go the extra mile. There's like, hey, can I get an autograph from you? I'll pay you $40, ship it.
We keep because Ron Martini's not too far from us. Joe and I keep playing with the idea, messaging him on Facebook, being like, maybe, but
I'm 100% sure he's coming on the show eventually.
Yeah, I'm also afraid it's going to be like never meet your idols situation.
I will. Hats off to you both. You both deserve total royalty.
I think we're not only we're the only podcast that ever covered,
we're like the only
entire. I think we're the only two people on earth that have actually
seen
like
most the foremost Ron Martini scholars.
We are experts in this.
Experts.
I say take a shot because sometimes you put yourself out there and the guy actually ends up being awesome. My example for that is I'm actually an admin for an It's Always Sunny fan group.
Oh, nice.
So Mac's dad. So I'm actually friends on Facebook with Gregory Scott.
Yes.
Oh,
nice.
He is amazing, isn't he? Here he is on Bosch and Always Sunny, and everyone's like, isn't he the guy who's been, with David Shark Freilich and all these other henchmen and all these other things?
Like he'll send me happy birthday messages on my birthday. I'm like, oh,
awesome.
He's an average Joe, just like all of them. It's just amazing how all these guys is like they can be normal, and it's just not heard of because you just think, oh, they got to be just as crazy as all these other famous people, right? It's like, no.
By the way, Roddy Piper, great on that show.
Oh my God, the maniac!
Yes. And now they keep bringing him back. It's just
and that's the best increasingly part too, psychotic. When you watch one of these mainstream shows, and okay, so hands up. I know we can't see each other, but just let you guys know is like how many times when you guys are watching like a mainstream movie or a TV show, and you see some of these cult underground guys light up, and you get a shit-eating grin on your face, and everyone else is like, "What? What's up?"
Yeah.
You're like, the guy we're grown up watching isn't.
It's the guy from The Thing.
Right, yeah. Diabetes, yeah. Tim Thomerson, he's playing the sheriff. Al Young's cousin, he just got shotgunned. Oh, it's just, like you say, it doesn't matter if it's a nothing role. It's just like, I do that even with just other TV shows. You're like, hey, Gerald McRaney from Simon and Simon, playing a bad guy again. And it is kind of funny because it's like you just wonder what they're gonna do in the scene. Are they gonna play a pervert? Are they gonna play like foreign diplomat? Are they gonna be just like again like the sensei? Or is it gonna be even just kind of them making fun of themselves like Billy Blank does in those Tybo commercials now? It's like, do you want to learn the way?
Yeah.
Oh no, I have one. Okay, are you guys familiar with Ellis Edwards?
Ellis Edwards.
He was mainly known. He was a stunt coordinator for WCW. His main claim to fame was he developed the stunt where Sting repelled into the middle of the ring. That was all that was him.
He's in Suburban Commando. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he's fucking awesome. I mean, especially because I was a wrestling kid too. So like he, stunt coordinating for WCW, then later on WWE. But okay, there is this episode of Baywatch that he's on.
Nice.
And he plays a stuntman named Johnny Danger. And he rides around and he has a drinking problem and he calls everybody slick and it's nice. The best shit. Probably my favorite episode of Baywatch.
He's got 3 episodes of him playing Johnny Danger, drunk boat driver, and man on a boat. Oh yeah.
He also did, Joe, just so you know, stunts for Santa with Muscles.
Hey, one of our favorites.
Yes.
One of our favorite holiday specials.
Before you get to Diary of a Wimpy Kid Free, The Conspirator, and Prisoners, you gotta have Land of the Free with Jeff Speakman and Bill Shatner in the Secret Agent Club. Yeah.
So wait, Jeff, did he do all the stunts with the fart machine?
I think he developed the fart machine.
Okay.
Oh. Now that would be a story to develop. If you go to a convention, you got to ask them, "Hey,
did you make the fart machine?
Did you make the fart machine? Your idea."
I think the best part about that movie is that it was produced by Jordan Belfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, during the era that Wolf of Wall Street
He
covers.
had money to burn. He liked his junk food too and ate it.
He's just trying to figure out a way to transfer money easily.
Yeah, it's just money laundering probably.
Through various projects.
Oh, I'm sure it was. And that's how the PM guys started. They were just billionaires and millionaires in Vegas and they just had money to burn. So they're just like, how about we make some action movies? And
totally.
I got to talk to Lane Levitt. He was the stunt double of the T-1000 and T2, so he's doing all the expensive burns and all that. But it's so funny. He's just like, yeah, when I was on those PM movies, basically those were just student films we got paid for. I'm like, that's amazing how you're wording it. And he just had all these other wacky stories. He's like, man, dude, shit. There's plenty of shit I haven't even put on my resume. It's not because it sucks. It wants to keep up after a while. I burned my keep.
It's not worth the effort.
Not fucking worth the effort. I'm not going to credit you anyway. Why do you care? Yeah, I was like, you might as well do a convention. Literally, you could put anything on your resume at a convention and people are going to want your autograph by the end of the day.
Yeah, you'll be like, thug number 3.
You were the stunt cock. Awesome. You were the giant monster.
And if you do it for long enough, then you get on panels and stuff. And it's just like,
you got your whole stunt cock fan club.
Yeah. People be like, all right, I got to go to Comic-Con because the guy who played Stunt Cock's going to be there. And I got to talk to him. I got to ask him about the time he played Stunt Cock.
We heart you, Stunt Cock.
What a great title. That is an amazing title. Everyone should have that as their title. What were you? I was the guy who got it. When the lead star failed, sorry DiCaprio, you couldn't handle it. Oh, where we were. This got awkward.
We all were like, oof. The riff zone ended very quickly there.
At least you said it. I didn't shout it, and everyone else is downstairs saying, "What the fuck is Karen talking about?" Does anyone listen to any of Conan O'Brien's podcasts? Like they have Inside Conan?
I can't say that I do.
It's so amazing. They got great stories to tell. And again, all his writers have had all kinds of things. Well, one of them, I forget his name. I made notes of them, but one of them was basically the one who had to watch all the Walker, Texas Rangers sketch. And he's like, fuck my life. And what's funny is he'd get news that the actors were like, hey, we're not making royalty off this. You can't make fun of us. And he's like, watch your damn clips.
Watch me.
Call yourself an actor after this. But what's even funnier is there was this other guy who basically had to, he later became the creator of Metalocalypse, but in between that, he started writing for, Nitro, WCW, WWE. And after a while, he started taking unused sketches that he had done from Conan. He's like, uh-oh, I hope that's not a problem. And Conan's like, no, I didn't. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Why am I going to copyright something stupid we did?
He's like, I'm not making any more money off of it. You go for it. They interview just about everyone, Dion Cole and all the other guys. And some of them will even tell stories on Andy Richter's podcast as well and Rob Lowe's podcast. So it's just everybody wins. But yeah, it's just one of them also was like an assistant to Mariah Carey. Just like,
I don't think I can mention anything without an NDA
Yeah.
being signed.
Yeah, Mariah Carey and Conan O'Brien are probably on the opposite ends of the.
It really was.
Telling
He's
stories
like,
about the
yeah,
spectrum.
don't ask. Next.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wait, actually, speaking of Walker Texas Ranger, you didn't ask me. Well, you did, and Jeff came in with Ron Marchini.
Say it anyway.
I would say Ron Marchini as my MVP too, but like definitely a co-MVP for me.
He should have been on Walker.
Charles Norris, really?
Chuck Norris was so enjoyable when we did that month of Norris November or whatever. Like I fell in love with the guy, and I never thought about the guy before that. But like now, like if I saw some random DVD in like a barrel at Best Buy and it had Chuck Norris on, I would just buy it immediately because he's so fun and he's so interactive and like he's great. Like I just want to give him props.
That would have been, let's see, that's just it. It's like when I saw the success of stuffing like that, and even B-movie guys like Olivier Grunner and Mario Van Peebles appearing on Martial Law, is like, yeah, I got me thinking. It's like, who hasn't done just a wacky show? And I mean, that's why I loved how the Conan guys even brought up Eagle Heart, which also stars as a guy who's been mistaken for a Martin Sheen lookalike. But I was just like, yeah, I mean, if anything, they should totally just once a year just give a random B-movie guy who's like in all the gyms in like Atlanta or LA, just the king of the gym, and just have a producer come by and say, you make the cut this week on CBS or NBC. You're gonna be the guy who just is the one-man army for this season of TV.
Or just give out like a random Oscar every year to like one of those guys.
A random Oscar. Then we might want to have to invite you all back. We do, we're coming up on our third annual Video on Demand Awards, where we just
nice.
We do all kinds of shit, like the wackiest hairdo, just
there's too many of those movies now. I mean, there's you mentioned it, like it's exploded ever since like streaming's become prevalent. Like
streaming is pretty much direct to video nowadays. It's like, if we don't want it in the theaters, it's gonna be on Netflix in 5 months.
Yeah, it's just imagine if these these small companies had just like billions of dollars, like a Netflix or a Hulu, and you're like, I have this idea, and they're like, greenlit, go. Like
greenlight, go.
Okay, go
on the spot.
They're like, here's $25 million. You're like, okay, I get okay.
Can you smell what direct-to-video movie we're cooking?
Yeah.
Well, it's also they're also just they're platforms where like even just random amateur filmmakers can like get on. Like if you go on Amazon Prime
and they have great movie trivia every time.
You go like 30 movies in on any of those like sections, and it's going to be it's just going to be B movies from that point on.
Oh,
right?
totally.
Like Jolted 2.
Like I was gonna say, yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Or like fucking
Frank Grillo was referring to those Randall Emmett guys who did some of those Bruce Willis movies as kind of a Ponzi scheme. He's like, where's all this extra money going? And sure enough, Brian A. Miller, who directed one of those heist movies with them and Michael Chiklis, Victor the Shield, got told, is like, okay, so basically they collected all the insurance money and didn't even use it, and so that's why they get to do all these award-winning movies like Designated Survivor, Street Kings, and even The Irishman, and then they can do all these B action movies starring 50 Cent and Val Kilmer that are basically knockoffs of their movies like Street Kings and Dark. It is like awesome. I'm watching it.
Rules. Yeah.
It fucking rules. I wish I had your fucking life right now. You guys are basically the PM Entertainment, just all these other Full Moon guys nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you just got to get Denise Richards, Dolph Lundgren, and I don't know who's another guy. Louis C.K. Do it.
Oh man,
get some infamous comedian.
Yeah, they always do have random comedians now. That's actually
Joe Rogan
really
and Adam Carolla as a bunch of narcs who get killed by Stone Cold Austin. In fact, okay, so I'm gonna pitch an idea to you now, and I know they're coming up and they're way too fucking old, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So Steven Seagal and both Steven Baldwin are in this gang-related LA Confidential knockoff movies. They're cops collecting money from dead drug dealers, and the money belongs to a bunch of cartel guys played by Robert Lasardo from Tuck and CSI Miami and the Wishmaster, Andrew DeVoff. Andrew DeVoff wants them dead. The crooked police lieutenant Lance Henriksen also wants their heads after demoting them. Their last means of hope is questionable attorney Daniel Baldwin, and the scandal-ridden mayor, William Shatner.
Ooh. Who's the random comedian though? It's like
Stephen Baldwin, but okay.
Okay. I was gonna say with John Mulaney as
yes, you might actually
as the police chief.
Yeah,
That's what really shouldn't be.
Yeah, I can hear him like you're a loose cannon, you know.
Yeah,
there you go.
You're up to your old shenanigans. You just be like super
just like
clean
his
about
douchey
it.
appearance on SNL. You smoke too much pot. You gotta stop that.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh God, that'd be great. And look at this guy. How's he still going?
And what is it called? What do we have a title?
What's the title?
Corruption related. I don't know. What should we call it?
Corruption City.
Corruption City. Double C. Corruption
And then we
City.
need somebody like during the trailer doing like the trailer voice, and at some point it's got to be like this summer.
City.
Don't get mad. Get Stevens or some shit like
that.
Yes. We got it. We got our tagline.
Yes.
Cuckoo for Coco movies. Yes.
That's amazing.
Oh God. Now, we need a martial arts in there. Is it going to be Don Wilson and Cynthia Rothrock as a bunch of internal affairs guys who have to do a fight scene while they're arresting the big bads?
I'm definitely going to say put Cynthia in because I enjoy the shit out of watching her scorpion kick people. So
nice. So she kicks Lance Henriksen's stunt double out a giant 5-story building. Tony Todd is her boss who says, I believe only you can defeat the inevitable evil surrounding us.
Yeah, I think Tony Todd needs to be like a Deep Throat type character because that's
yes,
like
cigarette smoking man from the X-Files.
Yes,
smoking, and he's just like, if I told you everything, I'd have to fucking put you down like a stray dog.
I say that because that's like every other role that Tony Todd.
That literally is.
Well, and you got it. If it's going to be Tony Todd, you should not see him for like an hour of the movie or
yes,
the movie. And then like he comes from out of the shadows. Then you get that moment where he's like,
first
Tony Todd.
There you go. Oh, and we need like a red herring that like distracts from the plot and is an excuse for a random car flip. Who's going to play a mysterious sniper who's trying to kill our Steven Seagal stunt double and Stephen Baldwin?
Danny Trejo. Danny
Trejo. Okay, perfect.
I don't think he could operate a gun at all.
David is a hitman for hire who is off duty and hires Danny Trejo to try and assassinate these guys who stole his cartel money.
I'd watch it.
Perfect. And meanwhile, perfect. And meanwhile, Andrew Devoff, we got all these other like. Pretty much, I'll just flat out reference everything he's been in. He's like, he just refers to all his henchmen as toy soldiers, and he's like, everyone's saying, "As you wish, master." He's like, "Of course, I am kind of like a genie in a bottle." He can actually do martial arts, so he definitely needs to get in a fight scene, at least briefly, while trying to assassinate Seagal, just with Rothrock. God.
I just got an email. We've been greenlit by Peacock and $30 million budget. So let's go.
Awesome.
Apple TV wanted it to be too funny. We wanted to be straight face, and that's where the comedy comes from. So
that's right.
Now we begin the process of cutting each other's throats and cutting each other out of this thing.
Yeah. Now the backstabbing begins.
Whatever you need to finish the movie, only if I get most of the bill.
That's right.
And what's funny is I knew a guy who literally could pass for Seagal, and I was just like, why don't we hire Seagal, just convince him he's the star of the movie, hire him for a day, try to avoid getting kicked in the groin by him, and then, have you be a stunt double who dies at the car explosion. And basically, that's what you're going to have to do. Eventually, you're going to need a stand-in, Bruce Willis style. I can't afford him for more than 2 days.
Well, if you put the movie in like Miami, Bruce Willis will go just to have like a trip to Miami. Like that's
right. He's in a movie now upcoming with Scott Adkins.
Yeah, all these movies that he's in now, like he just does it because he gets like paid to go to the Bahamas and film for like 2 weeks.
He's the Eric Roberts nowadays. How the mighty have fallen. Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of which, who's gonna kick, drop kick Eric Roberts through a wall?
Oh, nobody. He's immortal. He's the best.
Oh, that's right. This season on Highlander.
Yes, Eric Roberts. I mean, come on. That guy will go anywhere.
I would watch that. Eric Roberts and Adrian Paul are supernatural narcs.
Actually, now that I'm thinking, I think Eric Roberts might need to be the mob boss in our flick.
He would do it. Just remember, you're gonna have to bring cue cards.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard that now. He's now to that Marlon Brando stage.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in your fucking movie. You better have some cue cards.
I mean, this man has 657 acting credits. And if you go on his IMDb, like he has like 30 movies in filming. So this guy just goes anywhere.
His best fight is one where he doesn't really participate, where he and Christopher Walken just do a stare down in The Prophecy too.
Oh, yeah.
He's protecting Jennifer Bills and Russell Wong. And Russell Wong is beat, and Jennifer Bills is like, when do I collect the check and go and make Flashdance 2? Another one who I love, who's Ziva's dad on NCIS, is Michael Nouri. You just never know what shit he's going to appear in. He's like, at the end of the day, everyone is always going to say, isn't he the dude from Captain America and Flashdance?
Oh, yeah. You mentioned NCIS, so I had to double check it.
Yeah.
Long
dead, but hey, it was a good run. In between all the B movies and made for TV shit, I get to be the dad.
Eli David. Okay, now we're going to talk about Eli David for 20. That's who he.
That would be amazing. Yeah, what is the Ziva chick doing? She might actually do it. She'll just be just train her in some kung fu, and she gets to do all these weird movies with Rothrock and Richard Norton. Atkins, perfect.
Yeah, that's actually true. The
way to go. When you
Cote de Pablo feels like she needs to get on this track because
all these guys, anyone who's been just recently killed off on a TV show NCIS. Let's get the Marvel rejects, the ones who were too awesome but were only in one movie, you know. And Frank Grillo, come on, man. I know you got a bunch. Kellen Lutz, he just left FBI. Get him on. You know? He was an expendable after all. Ladies dig him. The guys kind of find him cool. Let's just do it. You know?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, so many of these people, it's like, it feels like that's their attitude. Like, yeah, I'll do that. Why not? Sure.
I'm getting paid, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm getting paid. Anything for the fans. I get to drop kick someone and say an awesome one-liner. Oh, yeah. Another one is Tracy Scoggins. Everyone else is always going to go, oh, yeah, Lewis and Clark, Babylon 5. It's like... Highlander is like, yeah, she'll show up and shoot a giant monster and be over dramatic. I must send you.
She'll okay. She'll play what is this? Golden.
That gal is 60 and she still does like all these fitness videos. It's
man,
that's fucking awesome.
I wish.
So this has been great having you all on.
Oh yeah.
So where the hell can we find you on the interwebs? Heather, go first.
No, I'm just right now just a little social media presence, like on Facebook, shit posting and like.
I love shit posting. You can do so many awesome movie posters just by taking an image and putting someone's body on top of another body.
It's true.
That's what I did all of my DFW airport experience. I would just make fake movie posters. Johnny Mnemonic 2 starring Casper Van Dien.
Perfect.
I'd say the most, I guess the easiest place to find me would be Instagram, try to say that fast, Silver Shamrock Shopper. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah. Very easy to say Instagram handle there.
Now that song's in your head though, so you enjoy that.
Shamrock. The magic conch shell. It is kind of like the Milky Way image or any of those other Hong Kong images. It's just okay, Jason.
Well, I think remember that
Give me back my action movie.
Yeah, that was Facebook group for that and the horror movies. So I post on there. Facebook, I just mostly...
You're just too kind an individual.
Yeah. I just shit post on Facebook, so I don't do a lot on my page.
In a fight, this guy or that guy?
I'm on Instagram too. My name is Bill Fudlacker on Instagram. There's a movie with Leslie Nielsen where he plays some spy and he tries to give somebody a fake name and he says his name is something Fudlacker. So I always thought that was a great name. So I was.
It is a great name.
Love it. I was drinking in a bar
with the word "kill" in it, where he actually does some kung fu. You should totally check it out. I don't know what it is.
Leslie Nielsen?
Yes, it's like from '75. It's an obscure Canadian TV movie, and he does kung fu for like 5 seconds while being a fugitive on the run. And it's just so funny because, I mean, again, this is what he did before he was making fun of all these disaster movies.
You're right. I mean, he was like a notorious villain in movies before he ever became like
a
comedian.
Yeah, he was in Creep Show.
He was an asshole in Creep Show.
He's the best in Creep Show.
He's in
Joe has different opinions.
He fucking buries Ted Danson up to his fucking neck.
I love you, Ted Danson. Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Best part is when he knocks on Ted Danson's door, Ted Danson's like, "You better be careful. I can bench press 300 pounds."
Yes, he wasn't.
No, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Ted Danson has never bench pressed probably 200 pounds.
I bet he's never seen 300 pounds.
He doesn't know what that even means. It's just the steroids he may or may not have been taking.
That's right.
But yeah, that's so true. And oh hell, he's in this other movie about. It's like Winter Dogs or something. He, Skeet Ulrich from Scream, Natasha Henstridge from Maximum Risk and Species. Yeah, it's just a stupid, just college comedy where he's just all these sled dogs, and it's amazing.
Wow. All right.
It's from 2002. Check it out. So, Jeff and Joseph, what will you be reviewing next? It's March. You kind of did your Ron Marchini Marchness, you know. So
yeah, we've been on hold actually because life has gotten in the way. But we're last one we did was Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter. Next one is going to be we're going to continue our Fast and Furious run. We're going to do F9.
Woo!
Yeah, we did all of them. That's how we started, and then you know, the sky's the limit.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We really want to get into the movie production game, though, eventually. So.
Yeah, our goal is to make fun of our own movies.
Crowdfund, baby. Oh, you could get the guy who did FDR, American Badass. And
there you go.
While he drowned out the Fury. Just
wow.
There you go.
You know what kinds of movies he makes. I even keep forwarding the link to Helen Keller versus Werewolves, and everyone's like, "You can't be serious. This is real." I'm like, "Yes, it's real.
Of course,
of course, it's fucking real."
Oh. But also, you can find me on Twitter, Jeff Crisco, Krisko. But I'm probably tweeting about football because that's what I do. I run a football website as well.
That involves stunts. So.
That's true. A lot of big hits.
Very awesome. Okay, well, thank you all ever so much. No, this was really a delight to do.
Yeah, no, I had a
good topic.
Can I ask a final question though? And the only reason I bring this up is because, I mean, you guys are like-minded as far as like movies go, so maybe you can help me with this. Why were so many like martial arts stars in fucking Santa Summer House and nobody did any martial arts whatsoever?
Because like, David Nicotao sucks.
It just gnaws away at me, but like, how did they go from getting that?
That dude is a two-hit wonder. Like, Alien Humanoids and Puppet Master Free, and after that, it's just gay porn, LGBT porn, and then a bunch of shirtless guys going out and basically hanging out at a beach with all these other D-listers, and you're like, that's it? You're not going to even have some fart jokes or something? I mean, the best part of A Talking Cat is that there's like fucking bastard written in Spanish on a flag in a G-rated movie.
That's amazing. But to answer your question, it's probably the studio said no.
Christopher Mitchum. Yes, that's right. Robert Mitchum's congressman's son probably just wanted, I don't know, something that he wouldn't get in trouble with. I don't know.
So let's make a Christmas movie. And
we just did a special on Ross Hagen, who's been in all these random B pictures for Chip Wynorski and Fred Olin Ray and Roger Corbin. And we're like, yeah, if anything, I think everyone just coasts. They just coast through. And if that's literally what it is on paper. You sit at a beach house and enjoy yourself. That sold. How much I get paid? Okay, I'm doing it. Even though people really just want to see me, kick someone's face in. Oh, you guys are welcome back anytime. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go on another cult franchise that involves mad bombers or alien kickboxers or fight to the death.
Name the flick. I'll watch it. Except for The Assignment. I will not watch that one again.
Unwatchable.
Which one is that? Oh, that was that.
It's the movie we keep trying to explain to people, like, hey, like people ask us a lot, like, of all the movies
Quinn
you did,
plays
like
IRA assassin or something.
No.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Michelle.
It's on HBO Max right now. So Michelle Rodriguez plays a hitman.
Walter Hill's loose remake of Johnny Handsome.
Who had involuntary sexual assignment surgery.
Yes, because she killed.
But she starts as a man. That's the most important thing.
But
so she starts with a full penis.
Sigourney Weaver. Who else would do this fucking movie?
Yeah, you got to let that sit, and then you say, "Oh yeah, by the way, she has a full nude scene with a prosthetic penis." And everybody's like, "Excuse me?" Like, yeah.
I surprisingly don't remember that. I just remember all the Aikido blood and her just saying,
"You don't remember?" Okay.
Right. Okay. Your reaction is, Heather, is exactly what people do when we try to explain this movie. They're like, "Wait, hold on. No, there's no way this movie exists." It's like, yeah. It's got Tony Shalhoub in it too. It's got people. It's just
got Sigourney Weaver. Yeah,
you need to solve the case.
Yeah,
I secretly like this movie, but I totally understand. It is my version of Face Off that I kind of like better. And now that I've just been prosecuted, just remember John Woo also gave us Paycheck, which sucked.
Oh,
yeah.
You don't have to feel bad for John Woo, Joe. Okay.
No, I just feel bad for Paycheck. All those people who paid money to see
anyone who had to get a paycheck.
All those people who paid to see it in theaters. It's just sad.
So you feel bad for yourself.
Apparently, he pulls a Joe Schumacher on Batman and Robin, where he spends the entire track saying, "I kind of wish I was doing better movies back then." And lo and behold, he goes back to Hong Kong and he makes even worse movies. And they're like, "God damn it! Why can't I get at least one?"
Wasn't the location
arrow?
Yeah, was it? Yeah, shocker! It's not where you made the movie, John Woo.
You're just losing it, man.
Yeah.
Oh God! So I'll name off a bunch of other stuff. I got to introduce you to Air Boss with Frank Zagarino, and let's do it.
All right.
Oh! What are those ones where he plays the killer cyborg? Like, it's like Terminator meets Die Hard meets Aliens, and some of them, like, he keeps just coming back. One of them he terrorizes a hospital, the other one he takes over a spaceship, the other one he's on a desolate planet fighting.
Oh my God. What is this called?
It's not Cyber Tracker, that's Don Wilson. Frank Zagarino cyborg movie. He did Cyborg Caught Free, but that's no relation. And it's like he gave up all these direct-to-video movies now.
Warrior?
No. It's... Is it? But he now like owns like a home movie studio, like for people who want to set up their home theater systems. He gave that whole life up.
He works at the Magnolia section at Best Buy now.
What is it? Not Psy Warrior. That's from Italy. That's his precursor. Shadow Chaser. That's the one.
Shadow Chaser.
It's like his Universal Soldier. He's a half bored guy just going around taking everyone hostage, going. Even though he's supposed to basically be a cyborg, he's laughing maniacally. And Meg Foster from They Live is in the first one.
Oh wow!
Nice.
I'm playing the good guy, Rico Ross from Aliens. You're like. This is one fucked up cast. I love this more than I should.
Oh my gosh, he was in Waxwork too. That's wild.
You didn't know that? Nice.
I didn't know that.
He doesn't have any dialogue, but he gets a fight
scene.
Scene.
Zombie.
So that's exactly what we're talking about. All these guys, like, you've just been in everything. You don't even realize you've seen them.
Yeah,
Each time they're asked to speak.
Nope. You sent the list.
I found out today that Steve James was a damn baseball fury, and I did not know that before today. So I had no fucking clue.
And of all people, William Friedkin, director of The French Connection and Exorcist, says he's one of his favorite actors he ever worked with. And he did these stupid movies for NBC where they were like a discount A-team, just going around beating people up, Equalizer style.
Well, you remember me telling you when I was talking to you via email and how I was like talking about that I needed to like explain to you my whole like is that Fred Williamson? Which that kind of like, if I had to encompass this entire like era of action movies, that would be the one phrase, because there would always be like, there's all these movies with the same names and the same like cast of characters. And it's like, I would glance at the screen and I would just see a big black dude with a big mustache.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's either Steve James or Fred Williamson. So it's like, I'd always look at the screen.
It's not
and like,
one or the other.
And,
and when you realize basically, all these guys basically are emulating. Yeah, Steve James is pretty much emulating Fred Williamson, much like basically Steven Seagal is emulating Joe Don Baker. Just go around, be a drunk detective like Mitchell, just be a douche to everyone. And to quote Mr. Science Theater, the hero of the movie, everyone.
Yes. God.
Oh, so again, you guys were all just so charming. Thank you ever so much for being out here and doing this.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Thank you for having us. It was a blast.
Let's do a watch party sometime. Let's do something fun.
For sure.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'm open to any ideas. I'll try and get us on some kind of group chat if it has to be Discord or whatnot.
Nice.
All right. Godspeed to y'all.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Adios.
All right.
Adios.
Later.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening. It's a Jack